Welcome back to our REST API series. In our previous videos, we explored what REST is, how resources and URIs work, and how HTTP methods help us interact with data. Today, we are going to take a closer look at one of the most important concepts in REST, which is statelessness. What is it, and why does it matter for building scalable and reliable APIs? Let's find out. First, let's answer the question about what is, let me make this, what is statelessness mean? In REST, statelessness means that the server does not store any information about the client between requests. Each request from the client must contain all information the server needs to process it. In other words, every request is treated as if it's completely new. Imagining going to a vending machine. Each time you put in your money and select a snack, the vending machine gives you your item, but it doesn't remember who you are or what you bought last time. That's how statelessness works in RESTful API. So every transaction is independent. Okay, but why? Why does it? Why does statelessness matter? Why statelessness matters? Why? Statelessness makes RESTful API scalable, reliable, and easy to maintain. Without having to track sessions, the server can handle a higher number of requests. If one request fails, it doesn't affect others because each one is independent. This simplicity also makes our code easier to manage. So let's try to understand how the statelessness works. So in a statelessness API, the client has to send the necessary information with each request. For example, when you make an API request to get user data, you need to include an authentication token with every request. So if the client is connecting with the server through an HTTP, the client has to be authorized. So it doesn't matter how many requests the client did send. It is important for the server, and it's required from the client to add an HTTP token or like an authentication token to each request because the requests is open REST and REST is statelessness. So the server doesn't know anything about the previous requests that the client created. The server might cache some previous requests, but it doesn't have sessions to the client. So the client is always have to add and have to put, for example, an authentication token. It have to put some APIs, some variables that are important to the server to make sure it can process the request. So popular APIs like Twitter and GitHub are a great example of stateless APIs. Every time you make a request to these APIs, whether it's fetching or a tweet or getting repository information, you need to include your authentication token. The server treats every request as independent. I guess we need to talk about some common mistakes that we need to avoid, which is one common mistake is trying to store session data on the server, which breaks the stateless nature of REST. Another mistake is not including all necessary data in your requests. Always make sure your requests contain all required information like authentication tokens or resources ID. So in today's video, we explored the concept of statelessness in REST. Statelessness allows servers to handle more requests efficiently without storing client information between requests. In the next video, we will dive into API versioning, why it's important, and how to implement it in REST API. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to catch that episode. And as always, leave your questions in the comments below. So see you.